Hey everyone, I'm Brian Easterday and welcome back to Eye of the Storm Astrology. So today is the last and final video in my series, Sun Through the Signs, and I'm going to be discussing the qualities of Sun when it enters the sign of Pisces. But before I get to that, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any future videos that could be helping you turn your challenges into strengths. So what are the qualities of Sun when it enters the sign of Pisces? Well, this can definitely be one that has a little bit of challenge for the sun. The reason being is there's not a whole lot of synastry going on here between, this Graha, this planet, and for those who don't know, Graha is the word for planet in Vedic astrology. Rashi is the Sanskrit word for sign. So this Graha and this Rashi don't have a lot of synastry. Pisces is a sign that's symbolized by the two fish, so there's always a duality or a polarity to it. Like one fish is going this way, the other fish is going that way. One's going up, one's going down. One's doing this thing, one's doing the other thing. There's a lot of polarity in it. It's a sign that's all about the imagination, the dream world, the fantasy realm. Very, very deep emotional sign. Pisces people feel things very, very deeply, especially if it's in like their lagna, their moon, their sun. They're definitely going to be people who feel very deeply, and that can be very difficult, especially depending on which nakshatra this falls into. Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada being more difficult ones. Revati, the sun would do a little bit better there for sure. It's kind of a nakshatra that's all about leadership and being a guide, and the sun's an authority figure, so there's some synastry with those. But what are some downsides to when the sun enters in Pisces? Well, a person can sometimes feel like they're drowning in their emotions. They can be a highly sensitive person to where they pick up on other people's emotions and feelings. Or, I hate using the word empath because fucking everybody and their dog throws it around, but being able to have empathy towards others, to be very empathetic people in the sense they care about others. They can observe other people. They're very intuitive type of people. They can be people that maybe have interesting dreams or those type of things, potentially even some type of like psychic abilities. They can be people who are like astrologers, tarot readers, rune practitioners, into any type of like divination, those type of things. You can see with the sun in Pisces sometimes. They could also be people who, because they feel so deeply and things like that, they could potentially like get their egos hurt. They could also keep a lot of themselves hidden because they feel so deeply. And Pisces originally rules the 12th house, which can deal with hidden things or things that are behind the scenes. So a person here can kind of tend to hide themselves or hide part of themselves, where they might have one thing where they are on purpose, but like in another way they are in private. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Some people, like, they feel so deeply, so if they let all that passion out with other people around it could really backfire on them, in the sense of people could not take them seriously, or people could kind of just shit all over their emotions or their ideas, or whatever it may be, and that can kind of like hurt their ego if that happens. So they'll definitely have, if they feel like other people can actually hear them and connect with them on the level of depth that they're wanting to, they'll totally open up. But they kind of have to learn at a young age that most people don't feel things as deeply and as passionately as they do. So they have to kind of learn to deal with that. Now, some of the strengths that we can see here when sun comes into Pisces, a person, like I said, they can become highly intuitive person. They can be a highly intelligent person, because Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and it's the feminine or the internal expression of Jupiter. So they can have a lot of wisdom, a lot of intelligence. They can be very caring people, very nurturing people, people who are expansive. They're expanding their knowledge, and they're always like kind of in their internal world, in daydream, experiencing, be that which is beyond just this experience. They're getting a wide range of things. So one of the best ways to use a sun in Pisces is to use that intelligence and especially that spiritual wisdom to figure out like, hey, who am I really as a soul? Like, am I just this ego, or am I something much more? Am I Atma? Questioning that, looking at the nature of the reality of things, questioning that which is beyond you. They could also be people, for example, who are very creative. They have great imagination, so they could come up with lots of new ideas, lots of new ways of doing things. Or someone who maybe even be like, for example, like write a fantasy book or something like that. That could be a Piscean type of energy, because it's taking something from the imagination, the fantasy realm, is bringing it into this world through like a form of knowledge, which Jupiter can deal with. And Jupiter and Mercury can both deal with writing, being an author, those type of things. It could maybe even be someone who's like a film director. It could also be a person who is a priest or preacher, some type of religious authority, counselors, psychiatrists. All of these type of people, you could definitely see these fields coming with someone who's a sun in Pisces. It could also be someone who's maybe like an artist or a musician. Those type of things could also be seen. Anyone who works like behind the scenes, so maybe even someone who's like a nurse or a doctor, that type of thing. They're helping people and they're doing it in a private setting. You could see that thing. Or someone who has a career field where they're kind of like they're working behind the scenes or off on their own, or if they're working with other people, it's an intimate, private type of way. You can see all those type of career fields coming with this. This is a great place for the soul. These people can kind of become focused on enlightenment, awareness, moksha, whatever phrase you're kind of wanting to learn, use for those things, because they can become very spiritually oriented here, because it's ruled by Jupiter, and it's the last sign in the zodiac. So it's all about, whereas Aries is coming into this world, coming into this experience, taking action, having goals, doing those things. Pisces is about leaving, about going away. It's the end of the cycle. So it's kind of like the final conclusion. So a sun in Pisces, they can be very focused on that type of thing. It's like, well, what's beyond this experience? That will definitely be something you can see there. So use the passion of Pisces, use the creativity and the imagination and the inspiration, all of those things, and apply those to your goals, apply those to your education, apply that depth into figuring out who you really are as an Atma and why you're really here. And when you align with that Dharma, that's something that really, as a personal sun in Pisces, is going to bring you so much wisdom and awareness, because that's what your soul really came here to experience in this incarnation, is to figure out a lot of these higher spiritual lessons and to develop spiritual wisdom. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys, and this series as well. So I hope you found it valuable. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. I definitely want to hear from you guys. And also hit that like button. Do yourself a favor, hit the notification bell as well, because that makes sure that you don't miss out on any videos that could be helping you turn your challenges into strengths. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Remember, by creating more awareness, we create more opportunity to be the best version of ourselves. I appreciate your guys' support, and I'll see you in the next video.